The girl in the rain. The rain was falling hard on the strange alien planet. Wind howled through the broken trees and thunder cracked across the dark sky. Jace, a lone human explorer, walked slowly through the wet jungle. His ship had crashed hours ago. He was cold, tired, and looking for shelter. His boots splashed through thick mud as he pushed through tall, glowing plants. His hands were scratched and his jacket was soaked. The planet was unknown to Earth. No help was coming anytime soon. Then he heard it. It wasn't a wild animal. It wasn't the wind. It was crying. Jace stopped. His heart beat faster. He turned his head toward the sound. The soft cry came again, barely louder than the rain. It sounded like a girl, a small one. He moved quietly through the trees, careful with each step. After a few meters, he reached a clearing. There, under a large broken tree, was a figure. She was small, very small. She looked like a child, but her skin was pale blue, glowing faintly in the dark. Her body was shaking from the cold, curled up with her knees against her chest. She had no clothes, only bruises, dirt, and fresh wounds. Jace felt his breath stop. This wasn't a wild animal. This was an alien girl. She looked up. Her eyes were big, shiny silver with fear inside them. She didn't speak, just stared at him like he was a monster. When he took a step forward, she let out a tiny whimper and scooted back, slipping in the mud. "It's okay," Jace said softly, holding up both hands. "I'm not here to hurt you." Of course she didn't understand him. Still, he slowly took off his wet jacket and moved closer. He knelt a few feet away and placed the jacket on the ground, then slid it toward her. She stared at it for a moment, then looked at him again. She didn't move. The rain kept falling. Jace sat there, not speaking, not moving. After a few minutes, the girl finally reached out with shaking hands and pulled the jacket over her small body. She wrapped herself tightly, still watching him with cautious eyes. Jace smiled gently. "There you go." "That's better," he whispered. She didn't answer. She just buried her face in the coat like a scared kitten. Her body trembled with cold and fear. Jace looked around. They couldn't stay here. Night was coming fast and the temperature was dropping. He had a small shelter pack in his survival bag. "I'm going to make a tent," he said calmly, moving, slowly. "You'll be warm soon." The girl didn't stop him, but she didn't trust him either. He took out the shelter bag, unfolded it, and activated the heat bubble. A soft blue dome appeared, just enough for 2 people. He placed the girl's jacket-covered body inside first, then crawled in after her, keeping a short distance. Warmth filled the bubble. The girl's shaking slowed a little. She looked at him, still unsure. He didn't touch her. He just sat there, watching the rain outside. After a long silence, she opened her mouth. Her voice was so soft he almost didn't hear it. "Not food?" Jace blinked. "What?" She pointed to herself. "You not eat me?" Jace's heart broke. "No," he said quickly. "No, I would never hurt you." She stared at him for a few seconds, then looked down. "Others threw me. From sky." Jace leaned forward. "You were thrown? From a ship?" She nodded slowly. "Said no good. Said broken." Her hand touched her own chest. "Said I was waste." Jace didn't know what to say. He clenched his fists. "You're not waste," he said firmly. "You're alive. You matter." The girl looked up again. A tear slipped down her cheek. Jace reached into his bag, pulled out a food bar and offered it to her. She hesitated, then took it with both hands. She ate like she hadn't eaten in days. As she chewed, her eyes stayed locked on him, watching, studying. "Name?" he asked gently. She paused. "Leary." Jace nodded. "Nice to meet you, Leary. I'm Jace." She didn't respond, but for the first time her body relaxed just a little. Outside the bubble, the storm grew stronger. But inside, a small warmth had begun. Two strangers, one human, one alien, alone on a cruel planet. And it was only the beginning. Who took everything from her? Leary's small body shook as she cried out in her sleep. The coat he gave her was now soaked in sweat. Her fists were clenched and her legs kicked as if she were still being chased. Jace leaned closer, careful not to scare her. "It's okay, it's just a dream," he whispered. But it wasn't just a dream. It was a memory. She woke with a gasp, eyes wide with fear. For a second she didn't know where she was. Then she saw him, Jace. She backed away to the edge of the heat bubble, breathing hard like a cornered animal. Jace didn't move. "I'm here," he said softly. "You're safe now." Leary covered her face with her hands. She was silent for a long time. Then, with a broken voice, she said, "They laughed when I cried." Jace's throat tightened. "Who?" "The ones with black armor," she whispered. "Big ship. No names, just numbers." Jace listened closely. She spoke slowly with heavy words. "They came to our world," she said. "Took young ones, for trade, for fun. I was one." He closed his eyes. He had heard stories about such slavers before. Dark groups that moved in shadows, selling innocent lives to the highest bidder. "They took my sister," Leary added. She screamed when they pulled her away. I tried to stop them. They hit me. She pulled down the collar of the coat. A long scar crossed her shoulder. Jace felt anger rise in his chest. "And then?" he asked. "They threw me out," she said. "From the sky, like trash." Jace clenched his fists. The fact that she survived a drop from orbit meant someone wanted her to suffer, not just die. "How did you survive the fall?" he asked. Leary pointed to a strange blue crystal embedded in her skin, near her neck. "Failsafe," she said. "Slave, tag. It slowed me down. But also, tracks me." Jace looked closely. The crystal blinked faintly with light. His eyes narrowed. "They can still find you?" he asked. Leary nodded, eyes wide with fear. "Then we need to get that thing out," Jace said. But before he could reach into his bag for tools, the heat bubble flickered. Beep. Warning. Movement detected. The warning came from Jace's wrist scanner. Something, or someone, was outside the bubble. Jace grabbed his laser blade and stood up fast. Through the thick rain, he saw shadows move just beyond the clearing. Tall figures, at least 3. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Leary grabbed his jacket tighter and ducked low. The figures didn't speak. They watched. Then, red lights blinked, in the darkness, scanning beams. "They found me," Leary said, her voice breaking. "Please, and don't let them take me again." Jace felt something deep inside shift. He didn't know her. He didn't understand her people. But the fear in her voice wasn't alien, it was human. He turned his blade on. A thin, sharp light hummed to life. "Let them try," he said coldly. The rain poured harder and thunder cracked above them. The shadows stepped back. For now, but they weren't gone. "They'll return," Leary said. "They never stop." "Then, we don't stop either," Jace replied. "We fight. We run. We survive." She looked at him for a long time. Then, for the first time, she nodded. Not with fear, but with trust. And so, the hunted girl and the lone human began their journey. Not as strangers anymore, but as something more dangerous. Survivors. Shadows in the forest. Jace jolted awake. The rain had stopped, but the world was quiet. Too quiet. His eyes darted toward the corner of the heat bubble. Leary was gone. He jumped up, his boots slipping in the wet grass. His heart pounded as he scanned the area. "Leary?" he called out. No answer, only the soft echo of dripping leaves. Jace rushed outside the dome. The ground was muddy but showed clear signs, small, light footprints and larger ones beside them. He looked down. 3 blinking red dots glowed in the mud, tracking signals, just like the one on Leary's neck crystal. But these were bigger, heavier. Someone had activated multiple trackers to find her exact location. Jace's gut twisted. She didn't run. She was taken. He grabbed his scanner and gear bag and dashed into the trees following the footprints. Branches slapped against his face, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. As he moved deeper, the forest got darker, thicker. Strange, glowing. Bugs flew between hanging vines and the air felt heavy like something was watching. He followed the trail for nearly 20 minutes. Then he heard it. Whispers. He crouched low and crawled behind a large root. Just beyond it, in a small clearing lit by the strange blue moonlight, were 2 figures. One was Leary. She was kneeling, her hands tied, face dirty and scared. The other was a large alien covered in black armor, holding a weapon to her head. Its body was covered in scars and mechanical limbs, but something was strange. The armored alien wasn't speaking. It looked confused, like it was scanning Leary, but something was wrong. Suddenly, the alien slapped her. "Where is the signal? Why is it silent now?" the alien growled. Jace's eyes narrowed. The tracker had stopped working. Leary had somehow shut it off. Jace reached for his laser blade. He could rush in, but there might be more enemies around. Then something moved behind him, a second guard, quiet, fast. Jace barely dodged the attack. The blade missed his face by inches. He rolled, pulled out his blaster, and fired. The shot hit the guard in the shoulder, knocking it back with a scream. The one holding Leary turned fast, just in time to see Jace charging toward him. Jace jumped through the clearing, tackled the armored slaver, and slammed him to the ground. Leary screamed but quickly rolled out of the way. The slaver punched Jace in the side, but Jace didn't stop. With a loud yell, he drove the blade deep into the alien's neck, sparks flying. The body went limp. Jace gasped, trying to catch his breath. "Leary!" he shouted. She crawled over, hands still tied. "I thought you wouldn't come," she whispered. "I said I wouldn't leave you," he replied, slicing her ropes free. Then they heard it, a distant roar. Metal engines. More were coming. "Run," Jace said. "We have to move." "But where?" Leary asked. He looked up at the trees. High. Above, he spotted an old broken platform, likely used by hunters or scouts long ago. "There," he pointed. "We climb." Together they climbed through vines and roots, breath heavy, fingers slipping. But they made it, just in time. Below, 3 more armored slavers arrived. They found the dead body. "She had help," one hissed. Jace and Leary lay flat above, watching, breathing quietly. "They won't stop," Leary whispered. "They want me dead or sold. Then we disappear," Jace replied. "We changed the rules." Leary looked at him. "Why help me? I'm no one." Jace gave her a small smile. "Not anymore." High above the forest, hidden in the dark, the human and the alien girl held their ground. And somewhere deep inside both of them, a fire was starting to burn, of defiance, of survival, of something close to hope. The monster and the girl. Jace opened his eyes just before sunrise. The air above the trees was cold and still. Too still. No buzzing bugs, no chirps, just dead quiet. He looked beside him. Empty. "Leary?" he whispered. She was gone. Again. But something felt different. Her coat was folded neatly beside where she slept. No signs of panic, no struggle. She had left, by choice. Jace stood up quickly and looked around. Then he saw it, on the tree bark nearby, a small mark. 3 scratch lines made by a sharp rock. A sign, a direction. She wanted him to follow. Jace grabbed his bag and weapon and climbed down fast. He followed the trail through the fog-covered woods. The deeper he went, the stranger the world became. Trees had scars, deep gashes as if something massive had passed through recently. Then came the smell, burnt meat, blood, bones. He stepped into a clearing and froze. There it was. A beast, 10 feet tall, covered in thick black fur. Its back was lined with red spikes, eyes glowing yellow like fire. Its jaws were chewing something, and beside it, hidden behind a broken log, was Leary. Her eyes met his for just a second. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She was protecting something. Jace moved slowly, crouching behind a fallen tree. He whispered, "Leary, what are you doing?" She held up her hand. "Shh, it's not the monster." Jace blinked. "What?" She pointed behind her, and then he saw it, a small animal, weak and whimpering, covered in fur and wounds, a baby creature, same species as the beast, but sick, hurt, and afraid. Jace suddenly understood. "The big one's the parent," he said quietly. Leary nodded. "She's not attacking because of the baby. I gave her food. She's still deciding if I'm safe." Jace looked around carefully. "One wrong move and she'll decide you're not." Then the mother beast lifted its head. It sniffed the air. Its eyes locked on Jace. He stood slowly, no weapon raised, no threat. The beast snarled. Its heavy paws crushed branches as it stepped forward. Leary jumped in front of Jace. "No, stop!" The beast paused. Its yellow eyes narrowed. Leary reached out, slowly shaking. "He's like me, kind, please." The monster huffed. Then without a sound it turned, picked up the baby with its massive jaws, and vanished into the forest. Silence returned. Jace lowered his arms. "You could have been killed," he said, breathing hard. "I had to try," Leary whispered. "No one ever tried for me." Jace stared at her, amazed. "You risked your life for a creature everyone else would call dangerous." She looked at him. "You did that for me." Jace didn't answer. He just pulled her into a gentle hug. For the first time, Leary didn't pull away. After a few moments, she spoke. "I remember now. Where they took us. Where my sister is." Jace's eyes widened. "You're sure?" She nodded. "Their base, not far. Underground, near the black rocks. I heard them talk about it." Jace took a deep breath. Then he smiled. "Then we're not just running anymore." "We're going back?" she asked. "No," Jace said. "We're going to end it." That night under alien stars, a fragile girl who had nothing and a lone human who had no mission became something far greater. They became a team, and the slavers had no idea what was coming for them. The hidden past. They had found shelter again. This time in the ruins of an old alien outpost. Metal walls were rusted. Vines covered the ceiling and blinking lights showed a power source still alive deep underground. Leary sat near a broken console, holding a glowing cube. Her eyes were distant, sad. Jace was searching through the storage, lockers looking for tools, food, anything useful. But then Leary spoke. "I remember a face." Jace turned around slowly. "Whose face?" She looked at him. "Human." Jace stepped closer. "You've seen humans before?" She nodded. "When I was small, I wasn't with slavers yet. I lived in a city. My people called it Naveen. One day the sky opened. A ship came. I remember running to see. Others were afraid, but I wasn't." She paused and touched her neck. The skin under the blue crystal glowed. There was a man, tall, skin like you. He didn't speak my words, but he smiled at me. Then there was fire. People ran. Screams. I never saw him again. Jay sat down across from her. "That could have been an Earth scouting mission," he said. "Maybe years ago." "No," Leary said. "I wasn't just near them. I was taken with them. I saw their stars. I saw Earth." Jace blinked. "Wait, what?" She looked at the glowing cube. "They erased it from my head. I think the slavers. They didn't want me to remember. But now it's coming back." She tapped the cube and suddenly, a small hologram floated up. It showed a human ship, clearly marked with old Earth insignias. Jace leaned forward, stunned. "How do you have this?" he whispered. "I took it," Leary said. "The day they beat me, I grabbed it from one of the guards. I didn't know why. Now I do." Jace stared at her, the truth hitting him like a wave. "You weren't just a prisoner. You were part of something bigger." Leary's voice became small. "Maybe I was created, or rescued, or lost. I don't know. But I'm not just alien. Jace, part of me is connected to humans." Jace stood and began to pace. "If that's true, then the slavers aren't just criminals. They're hiding something big. They are afraid of what I might remember," Leary said. "That's why they tried to throw me away instead of selling me." Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed from Jace's scanner. "Movement," he said. "Something's coming." Leary stood up fast, hiding the cube in her coat. Jace looked out through the cracked door. A small drone was floating toward the building, scanning with a red laser. "Too late," Jace said. "We need to run." "No," Leary said firmly. "We need to finish this. If I remember more, we can expose them." Jace looked at her, surprised by the strength in her voice. "You're not that scared girl I found in the rain," he said softly. Leary nodded. "And you're not just a lost explorer. You stayed for me." He smiled. "We stay for each other." Outside, more drones joined the first. The building's walls shook slightly. Jace grabbed his blaster. Leary gripped a metal pipe like a staff. They stood side by side in the shadows, waiting. But this time, it wasn't just about survival. It was about truth. And the galaxy wasn't ready for what this broken alien girl and this stubborn human were about to reveal. The choice to run or fight the drones hovered outside the ruined building like a swarm of metal insects. Red lasers scanned the walls. One of them released a hissing sound, and suddenly, a voice came through. A voice Jace hadn't heard before, but it sent chills through his bones. "Jace Morgan, Earth citizen, former scout of Fleet 07. You found something that doesn't belong to you." Jace frowned. "She's not a thing. She's a mistake," the voice replied. "Half of what should not exist. Give her to us, and walk away." Inside the shelter, Leary was frozen, her face pale. "I knew it," she whispered. "They know what I am now, fully." Jace turned to her. "You don't have to be afraid. We'll run. We'll hide." Leary shook her head. "No. If we run, more girls like me will be taken, more families broken. You don't understand. They made us. Me. Others. They tried to mix human and alien DNA. I was an experiment." Jace stepped back, stunned. "You're saying they tried to create a hybrid?" Leary nodded. "I was a baby when they took me. I thought I was rescued, but I was born in a lab." Outside, the drone repeated, "You have 1 minute to surrender the girl. This is your only chance." Jace looked at his wrist scanner. The enemy signal was strong. Ships would arrive soon. Running might not work this time. Then, Leary did something unexpected. She walked toward the exit. "What are you doing?" Jace called out. She turned to him, eyes full of pain, but also peace. "They won't stop chasing us unless I stop running. Let me talk to them." "No," Jace shouted. "You're not giving up." "I'm giving them a lie," she said, "and buying you time." She stepped into the open. The drones focused on her immediately, red lights flickering over her face. "Leary of Unit 9, the voice said. "Return to base for reset." But Leary stood tall. "No," she said. "I remember now. I remember everything." There was silence. "You can't reset me. I broke your control. And if you try to take me, I'll tell the galaxy what you did. I'll tell Earth." The voice changed, more angry now. "Your memories are corrupted. You were never meant to speak." Jace stepped out behind her, weapon drawn. "But she did," he said. "And now I know too. So if you want her, you'll have to take both of us." Suddenly, the drones powered up, aiming their blasters. Leary whispered, "Jace, get ready to run." "No," he said. "I told you, we fight." The first drone fired. Jace grabbed Leary and rolled back inside as the beam burned a hole through the doorway. He threw down a flash grenade and pulled her behind an overturned metal table. "They're trying to destroy the evidence. He said. "We can't let them." Leary looked down at the glowing cube still hidden in her pocket. "I can send it," she said. "What?" "The cube. It holds the files, the proof. I can link it to your scanner and send the data to Earth. If it reaches a human outpost, someone will know." Jace hesitated. The signal range was weak. The transmission could fail, but it was their only chance. "Do it," he said. Leary connected the cube. The signal blinked. Transmission, 12%, 28%. Outside, more drones arrived. One was charging a plasma cannon. Jace fired shots from cover, buying time, 5%, 67%. Leary closed her eyes, whispering something in her native tongue. Maybe a prayer, maybe a goodbye. Jace looked at her. "We make it through this, you're never running again. You'll be free." She smiled through tears. 100%. The transmission was complete. Then the cannon fired. The wall exploded and everything went white. Smoke rose. Metal groaned. Jace coughed, crawling out from rubble. "Leary?" he called weakly. From the dust, a hand reached for him. She was alive. They both were. The drones were gone, retreating. The truth had been sent. Now, the whole galaxy would know. Hope in human hands. Hook. The message was sent. The enemies vanished. But Jace knew this was not the end. It was the beginning, because, somewhere far away, Earth had just heard Leary's voice. They hid in the quiet for hours after the battle. Jace wrapped Leary's wounds with cloth from his shirt. Her skin was bruised, her eyes tired, but she was alive. So was the truth. The glowing cube had gone dark, its job done. Its secrets were now flying through deep space, heading to Earth's military command and every public relay it could reach. "I can't believe we survived," Leary whispered, lying beside him under the broken roof of the ruined shelter. Jace looked at her. "I can. You were never weak. You just needed someone to believe it." Leary smiled faintly. "They'll come for us now. The slavers will be angry. They'll want to erase everything." "Let them come," Jace said. "We're not alone anymore." Suddenly a faint sound echoed in the distance. A ship. Leary sat up fast, fear in her eyes. Jace stood and scanned the sky. A small vessel was descending, sleek, silver, and marked with a glowing blue symbol. Earth Alliance. He lowered his weapon. "It's one of ours," he said. They got the message. The ship landed softly on the clearing near the forest edge. Its doors opened and 3 humans stepped out, 2 soldiers, 1 medic. They approached slowly, hands open. "Are you Jace Morgan?" the lead asked. "Yes." "And the girl?" "She's the reason I'm still alive," he replied. The soldiers looked at Leary. She stood slowly, scared but strong. The medic scanned her and paused. "She's not fully alien." "No," Jace said. "She's something new. Something both." The soldiers exchanged glances. "You both need to come with us. There's a lot the command wants to know." Jace looked at Leary. "It's your choice. No one owns you now." Leary looked up at the sky, eyes wide with wonder. "I always thought the stars were cages, but maybe they're doors." 1 month later, Earth Orbit Station Leary stood before a crowd of humans and aliens. News channels broadcasted her face across the galaxy. She wore clean clothes, her scars healing. Behind her stood Jace, proud and quiet. She spoke into the mic with a calm, clear voice. "I was created in a lab, treated like nothing, left for dead. But a human gave me his coat, his food, his trust. He did not ask what I was. He saw who I was." Her voice cracked slightly. "And now, I ask you all, look past blood, skin, or species. Look at hearts. Because a girl with nothing became something, because someone cared." Thunderous applause filled the station. Across worlds, people watched in silence, and change began. Later that night, Leary stood with Jace on a viewing deck, watching the stars. "They offered me a new life," she said. "Citizenship, education, a real home." "You deserve it," Jace replied. "I want you there too," she whispered. "Not just as a friend." Jace looked at her. "As what then?" Leary turned, tears in her eyes but smiling. "As the one who didn't walk away when I had nothing," he smiled. "Then let's build something together." And so, the girl once thrown from the sky with no clothes, no name, and no hope, became a symbol of unity. And the human who found her? He didn't just save her life. He gave her a reason to live. The end.